Okay. Uh, Thanks everyone joining. Thanks Himanshu for being our guest speaker. Just before we start, so just a quick, a round of introduction for Himanshu. Himanshu is the founder and CEO of ProExpense, which is a AI native travel expense platform, and they are directly competing with SAP Concur, in that space. And I think close to 1 lakh users, Himanshu, probably when I see your profile is there. And the most interesting part which I see with Himanshu that it's a bootstrapped, so that's amazing, Himanshu, while you hear that. Uh, and I think one of the things I want to talk about Himanshu, which is not mentioned, what I shared before about Himanshu, that I got an opportunity to visit the Himanshu office, which is basically based out of Gurgaon. And the kind of energy I can see in the office is amazing. So probably the startup something, and Himanshu himself is a avid software developer, so he keeps on doing on own. So probably you just start feeling that you should do your own, something. So Himanshu, I was quite excited when I see how you work and operate. Welcome to the group.
Thank you.
And over to you, Himanshu. You can take it from here.
Great. I think I see. Um, I think 4, 5 of us already here. Great. I think let's go through a quick introduction. Like Ankur was introducing, I worked for 20 plus years before I started Pro Expense. I actually have now two companies. One is Pro Expense, and we also have a CRM. Both are quite agentic in nature. I do a lot of the building myself now, and I do a lot of coaching sessions for finance professionals and non-coders to build their own, capabilities on AI. Um, so I left development, I think, back in 2011, 12. Since then, I did not do any dev work, and then, because of now vibe coding and a lot of uh, the coding getting easier, I repicked it up when I started my own company. So that's the background. Happy to hear quickly if everybody can introduce themselves, and then we can kick off.
Sure,
Yeah,
let me start with me.
yeah, please.
Yeah, good to catch up. Good evening, everyone, and Himanshu. So, Pramod Gupta, I'm CFO of a asset reconstruction company called RSIL, based out of Mumbai, and we are one of the largest in this space in India, and are there in 15, 20 years in the business. Yeah, thank you.
Great.
Hi,
So do
good
we just
evening, Himanshu. I'm Hitesh Uppal, CFO at Magic Bricks, India's number one real estate portal.
Nitish?
Look forward to this session. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, good evening, Himanshu. Nimit Arora, Head of Finance for the Pool Data Centers based in Mumbai.
Over to you,
Thank
sir.
you.
Hello, Himanshu. My name is Mulesh. I'm working as Group Financial Controller in a US-based private equity firm. I'm a chartered accountant and I am Calcutta alumni. Thank you.
Over to you, sir.
Same here.
Hi Himanshu. My name is Ankur Jain. I am partner with NDM Advisors, taking care of audit, assurance, and risk services.
Good to meet you, Ankur.
Same here.
Hey Himanshu, this is Mohit. I'm working in British Telecom and Gurgaon, and I'm a senior finance business partners and having experience of around 20 years, mainly in financial planning and analysis.
Good to meet you, Mohit. Okay.
Uh,
Ian?
uh, uh, Hi, I'm Harsh Lat. I'm a chartered accountant by
Yeah.
education. I work with the IAG, which owns British Airways and a couple of airlines, and I look after the SAP project. Sorry, I'm walking towards home, so yeah, I would soon be in a more formal setting.
No, thank you for joining us.
Thanks.
Awesome. Um, I think we're done with everybody. Hey guys, welcome. So I think what today we'll do is AI is catching up, and I think most of us will not be from a developer background. So we'll walk you through some use cases that I built in my products, and then we'll do a working session on how do you actually build agents in finance. right? And I think all of you must have access to Claude. If not, we can walk you through how do you set it up. But I think in finance, what's happening really is a lot of the manual work or repetitive work is getting replaced by agents, right? There are new technologies coming. There's a new technology called paperclip. We'll go through that today also. Mainly, what it does is it works with Claude to replace a human person on any task that you're doing, right? Especially the repetitive task. So you can create multiple agents where one person does the L1 work, the other one does L2 work, and then L3. So basically, and then there's a human at the end of the chain, which is what's happening in large part of US, for example. People are replacing repetitive finance functions with these agents, and then in the software also, wherever you see, there are audits especially happening via agents because they can process a lot of data in milliseconds, right? So we'll walk you through some of those use cases. But yes, if there is any other expectation from any of you, happy to kind of listen to you, and then let's keep it interactive.
I
Before we
think,
start,
Himanshu, one thing
yes,
probably audience would like to know, because you specifically mentioned Claude, many of the audience, I've spoken to, they have been limited to ChatGPT or Gemini. So
yeah,
Claude still people catching up. So probably it's also, you can guide the audience that how do Claude or others, compare, like how, because people are also trying to create a journey around, how do they move ahead in the curve, So if you can put some
sure,
perspective on that also to help people. Yeah.
If I can add one more thing, Himanshu, I would be really keen to hear a bit more about your entrepreneurial journey because Ankur mentioned you are competing with SAP Concur, and I think that's a very brave thing to do. So really interested to hear about your journey. If you could please share.
sure. Okay, so I think I'll start with my journey. I started my career as a developer in companies like Cisco and then Dell, HCL. I went to Adobe to launch Adobe's first cloud product. I was leading pre-sales for a very large function. So every product developed in India, I was doing pre-sales with them, but very technical products. So the first product we launched was to create apps from any design in InDesign and Photoshop, right? So did that. And then I flipped my career to complete pre-sales. So I went to SAP Concur. I started SAP Concur's team in India with Ramesh Iyer, who was the MD back then in 2014. We started India team for SAP Concur, was very successful there, 4 times winner, circle winner. Post SAP Concur, I went to head APAC for Freshworks, and I helped them launch Nasdaq in 2022. Post that, I joined Cred to lead Happy globally. So last company I led was Happy. I've also worked briefly in a company called Zaggle in this industry. So I've been in this spend management industry for last 10 odd years. And before that, another 10 I spent in more of pre-sales, hardcore technical roles. So my journey in entrepreneurship started when when we decided to sell Happy to make my trip. I realized that there is no player in India who is a global player and is able to replace Concurs of the world and can compete with RAM in the US or Navan in the US, because frankly, those softwares are way ahead of Concur right now in terms of capability, AI power, right? And that's where we started our journey. And then we've been able to acquire very large customer logos in India. We've replaced one customer in with who was using Concur in 28 countries, for example. Some of the other larger ones that we have is for example, JSW Group. We also work with Parijat Industries, Science, for example, Atomberg, right? So we have a lot of these customers who are global in nature, 70 plus countries also. Outside India also, a lot of big customers like Mashrak Bank, 14 countries uses us. We are almost at the verge of closing the largest tire manufacturer in North America. So we have a North America entity, we have an India entity. We have cards in India along with expense management, and we have credit cards in the US. So we're the only Indian fintech which has on the spend management side, which has cards both in India and the US. and we're launching Europe cards also soon. So we're a SaaS fintech. We have expense management. We have globally the first omni-channel AI engine for travel, and we build these card stacks within the tool as well. So I'll give you a glimpse of the tool that we built also. But yeah, on Ankur, your question. So I think ChatGPT is great for answering questions on the research and getting your own personal work done. Obviously, ChatGPT has Codex, but couple of things that you like about Claude is it's best for creating documentation. So let's say if I want to just create a quick PPT and Claude understands you, it retains your knowledge like ChatGPT, but it's way better in creating documentation. So let's say you want to create a quick presentation that you want in 5 minutes. Give it a prompt and it will give you a ready prompt, right, with the presentation. All you need to do is you will have a corporate theme, for example, upload a corporate theme there and the color theme and train it on your data. So once it's trained, it can completely create your decks. And something like what Google has now also now created with LLM, and Claude has an equivalent called Lotion. But if you only want to work in Claude, then that can also do it. Claude is way superior in creating UIs. So UI layer. So when you're creating software or an agent, for example, you would need a UI layer to interact. So Claude can create that very effectively. Some of the models that are quick are something like a Sonnet model, but there are now new models like Opus and the latest one, which was rolled back, and then it's back now. So it's called Fable. So one of these models you can use for creating your UI. What's even better at Claude is, when I don't know how many of you know about GitHub. Has anybody used GitHub? Okay, Hitesh has. Okay. Anybody else? So basically, see all the code in the world is stored in a place called GitHub, right? So I'll actually go through that. I think my screen sharing is disabled. Ankur, can you enable it? So basically, GitHub is a repository of all the code in the world. There are a lot of code that you can use, which is published for public, right? So it'll have great UI themes. There are open source codes like Paperclip I'm talking about, which is basically agent which will replace humans. So that is also a code which is deployed to GitHub. So GitHub connects with the Claude more efficiently. It can read data from GitHub. It can deploy code back on GitHub, right? And if you're coding, Claude just has more efficient models to structure things better, connect with all these things, right? So when you're building something for your company and you want to experiment, you want to create an agent for yourself or your function, Claude can do it more effectively, more efficiently, and it'll save you, time versus Codex. I feel it'll save you, at least it's more efficient by 30-40%. So I prefer Claude for most of this work. I think their models are more efficient as well. So if you've not used Claude yet, I think I will recommend you to go for Claude. The only challenge with Claude is if you don't know how to give it prompts and you learn it slowly, it will consume the free tier very fast. So you may have to go to that $20 plan, which is a basic plan per month, to make it to make efficient use of that plan. But yes, I think you can start with the free plan and figure out how does it work for you. Usually, some models like Fable and Opus are very expensive. So then you can actually go and select the model that you want, which is Sonnet. So I'll show you that once I'm able to share my screen. Somehow it's disabled for me right now.
I'm figuring out. Sorry, also, I was just learning. If anyone has an idea, can help me. I think I'm not been
To
able to
share,
do.
I think to share screen, you have to make Himanshu host
Sorry,
to enable
share
him to
screen.
share screen. Sorry, to enable him to share screen, you have to make him a host.
So by going in the host tool. So
No, I don't know what tool it is, but I know you have to make him a host so that he's allowed to
I
share.
think you can click on my name and see if there is a make host
Okay,
button.
great. Yes, that is a better way. Make a host. Yeah, change host. So you are the host now.
Great.
See if you can
Okay.
do now.
So following our agenda, I'll give you a quick glimpse on uh, Pro Expense World, but I was talking about GitHub, right? So this is GitHub. I hope you're able to see my screen now.
Yes.
Okay. So basically, GitHub is a library of all source codes in the world, right? And you don't need to be super technical to understand this. Basically, you can link your Claude with Paperclip, and this is Claude, for example, and we'll come to it in a while. But all the connectors that you want are available in Claude to connect with GitHub. Now, GitHub has a lot of source libraries. So this is a new AI thing that has come in recently. It's called Paperclip. You can go through some of the YouTube videos also. Basically, what it does is it's world's latest technology. So understand this, right? So there are three AI inventions globally, right? The first one was a GPT model, which a chat GPT bot, right? And that really transformed the world, right? So basically, it could answer your queries. It could take, your queries into its own database and create something. The second layer of AI that was launched was an actionable take action AI. So something like OpenClaw. So OpenClaw introduced to the world that AI can actually take action. And the third one that's now coming in, it's replacing humans. So Paperclip is an open source tool which is replacing human agents in their work. Right? For example, in ProExpense, if I don't use this, I will have to hire 20 more people right now. I've completely automated product management, and there is a human person sitting on it, right? But my product management is fully automated. My QA, which is testing, is completely automated. My uh, marketing operations are completely automated. My SEO layer is completely automated, right? My RevOps function, which is founder's office role, is completely automated. My financial controller is fully automated, right? So especially when you're a smaller company, it makes a lot of more sense to do it. But in larger companies also now, it can make things more efficient, right? So Paperclip is the new technology where once you link it to a Claude, for example, or any other tool, it can be trained to replicate a human agent, right? And these initially could be very simple tasks, but going further, it could be very complex tasks as well, right? But this agent can do end-to-end reconciliation with your bank file, for example, right? This agent can actually do end-to-end auditing of all your database. If you link it to SAP and you want to do reconciliation with your bank sheet, it'll do it in minutes. And what's more important in this is that in Paperclip, you can create multiple levels of agents. So one could be a person who's doing an L1 task. Above them, it could be a manager doing L2 task. Then there could be a reviewer, approver, and then you can be the final approver, right? So this is a very latest technology where a lot of people would not have heard about it, but I'm seeing this as a big use case in finance, right? So let me actually give you a demo of how you use AI in travel and expense. Let me start with travel. So I think you would have all booked your travel on a self booking tool, right? And you would typically go and click on flights like Make My Trip, right? And you will book your flights, you will book your hotels. But now what's increasing as a use case is a proper AI agent which sits across channels, right? So we built something which is called a omni-channel AI agent. You can book your travel from AI within SBT. You can go to Slack, and you can book your travel from Slack complete end to end, right? And this is actually a working. For example, in this example, I said I'm attending Gartner Finance Symposium. Find me flights from Delhi and hotels. So without telling it dates and everything, it found all the flights. It's coming with hotel options, right? So for this one, we forked Llama. Llama is another LLM. So if you don't want to use a Claude, for example, right, and you have some dev folks with you as well. So then you can actually use one of the public LLMs which can be deployed on your server, and those can be then trained to act on a lot of these things, right? So this is a more complex use case because it has to work with around 20,000 APIs to give you this result. But yes, simpler tasks can be done using Claude, for example, right? And again, this we built a lot of things. For example, let me show you. So I'm a vegetarian. I usually strive for finding a place which has Indian food options at least. Sorry. Right. So, so what I'm doing is, this is called NLP, natural language processing, right? In the back end, what's happening is this query understands from NLP what do I mean to say, and then what happens is I've given it some very complex task like find me hotel near Business Bay, Dubai with Indian food options. So it's going to Google API, Google Maps API. It's locating where those hotels are. Then I've connected this to Amadeus and some other TMCs. So it's checking those content and then getting those replies. So we've replaced a human travel agent with this option because this is a very, very complex ask, right? So for example, here it said, okay, this is near Business Bay. It's 0.2 kilometers from Business Bay, and these are the Indian restaurants nearby, right? Typically, SBTs are not able to do this, or basically a Make My Trip or Yatra, for example. If you go to their AI and type this, it will not happen. So AI is able to replace people completely. Usually, you would tell your travel guide or your travel desk to find this view. They will spend an hour finding it. But these things are something which now the AI is able to do very effectively.
Manshu, this Hitesh this side. So this you have configured for Thomas Cook.
No, what's happening is Thomas Cook and Duffel are two TMCs which are integrated with, and
Okay.
the content is coming from these two TMCs. So these are my partners
Got it.
where they give me content. So I'm
Got
just
it.
showing you an example of how this AI works, right? We also found out that most of the people don't use cell booking tool for booking travel. So we built something which is called omni-channel AI. Now you can book your travel from WhatsApp, Slack, like I showed, via voice, but you can also do it from, let's say, an email. So again, similar query on email, it will give you all the options with Indian food options and all, right? So basically, this is a use case where we build AI replacing a human agent, and it can book travel from any place that you want, from email, from Slack, like I showed you. I can show you WhatsApp also.
So what I'm thinking, we have a Quest to Travel. Okay. So if anyone is using Quest to Travel, they know one, the hotel booking is pathetic at that
Right.
one. Flights are much better one.
Right.
So still, even though we have an Quest to Travel access, so either the request go to PA to find some kind of a flight shortlisting so that we can get that. Plus, there's a policy compliance. So this type of layer can also sit on a Quest to Travel, or it has to be
Yes,
independent one.
it can sit on any layer, right? So basically, you can bring any of the TMC. So Best to Travel is a travel company, and it can sit on top of anybody. Could
Got
be
it.
a question. So, for example, Ease My Trip and Clear Trip are already my partners. I don't directly work with Quest to Travel, but we can bring in their content. So we are doing it for one company called CG Power in Mumbai, who's plugged in Make My Trip content basically. The security is also powered by Make My Trip, right? So, so the idea is that you can build these agents to replace humans, right? And a cell booking tool cannot achieve complexity like this, right? Where they understand, especially for outside India travel, they would not know anything or a new city. If you just give the conference room, the AI will find, the travel for you. So they say basically this is a AI agent, which is a travel AI agent, which is sitting on multiple layers. Layer one could be email, layer two could be Slack, layer through three could be a cell booking tool, right? This is the cell booking tool, right? And then all the AI conversations are stored at one place. You can resume from anywhere. So I wanted to show you this as a example of one of the actual working agents, which is commercially selling right now in multiple countries. In India, Middle East, and UAE, we also have given it to multiple partners. For example, EaseMyTrip white labels are tool, Thomas Cook white labels are tool. In Middle East, the largest TMC white labels are tool also, right? So there is a real business opportunity by building such agents to achieve your task, right? So this is the first agent I'm showing you. Obviously, if you wanted to see a demo of the whole tool, happy to show you anytime. But this is just one of the agents that I wanted to give you a glimpse about. Now, let me go to my expense tool as well. So this is my staging environment. I can show you my actual environment also. Without going into details, I'll focus again on the agentic workflow. But basically, this is my own dashboard. I have my card attached here. This is the card which we issue, for example. In India, it's with Pine Labs. In outside India, it's with Stripe and Pliant. There are two companies which give out credit cards in the US and Europe region. In India, we do this as a virtual card. It also supports UPI. We have our own UPI. There are multiple wallets, for example, right? So, but yeah, going back, let's say I get a expense report that somebody has submitted to me, right? And sorry, I'm just skipping most of the basic part right now because I think it'll be quite obvious, but I'm just trying to find an expense report that I can pick it up and show it to you. Let's see if this one has.
Himanshu, I think one thing which Hitesh mentioned was compliance. So probably, it's
Yeah.
more about, one thing which is definitely for finance, definitely is important. Are we complying to the company policies,
Yeah,
and
I'm just going to
policy.
that.
Yeah, I think that is an important element, so if you can also throw a
Correct.
light that it is part of how it comes.
The
I'm just showing you
problem,
practical examples. Sorry, go
so
ahead.
I just add to this one. For example, as a CFO, we have a policy for our travel. For example, Delhi tickets, Delhi Mumbai needs to visit 12,000 return, Bangalore 18,000. Quest to travel don't restrict that. It gives all option. People book, and then there's a post facto kind of an approval going.
Okay.
So I think if this kind of a tool give me the only option which are within the eligibility limit, which generally a human person do, filtering and then sharing the option, I think that's a good use case to look at.
Hitesh, we absolutely do that. Today's session is more focused on
Yeah,
filtering
so we
AI.
can
So,
connect.
but I'll book some time with you. So thank you.
Yes, sure.
I'll show you
Thanks.
I'll show you the detailed demo. But here's the other agent that we built, right? So
Can you admit Harsh? I think Harsh has been out. So can you just put him add to Harsh? I think I can see on my screen if it is there.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, over to you.
Okay. Can you still see my screen or
It has gone again. Yeah.
Okay.
It has gone.
Okay. See, the other thing that we built as an agent workflow, right? And I'm showing you practical examples first, and then I'll show you how to create agents. But let's say this is an expense report submitted by X person, right? Basic thing that we've already built is, if somebody submitted a duplicate receipt and all these things, right? And it'll tell you if same person has submitted or somebody else has submitted. This is not AI. So this is very basic, which is available in Concur also, right? But here's AI. So we've built our own platform called Prone AI, which works on. So there is a AI called Olama, and we forked that. We've also linked some third-party GPTs like Gemini, because Gemini is the most fastest in trend analysis and reporting. So, okay, Harsh is again waiting. Sorry.
Prashant should have joined. I think he was there.
I think
Okay.
yeah, please take me in again. Thank you.
He's there.
Awesome. So basically what Prona AI does right now, this is, sorry, I can hear my own voice. Okay, so this is a second agent that we built. This is a human AI trend analysis auditor agent. Now, what happens is while you're approving an expense report, you don't have knowledge of what has happened before, right? So, or this quarter, for example, from this employee. So this agent detects all the anomalies. It detects trends. It detects what kind of GL is actually higher than it should be. It can compare it versus the team average. It can compare it versus the same employee's average, right? And a lot of other things that you won't know usually. For example, meal expenses here are 897, which is 83% lower, which is good. But the total expense amount is this much, which is highest recorded by the employee, indicating a potential outlier. And it's saying, okay, this miscellaneous spending is high. So basically, this is a agent that I've deployed to audit every expense report. And based on the any flags here, I can send it for exceptional approval. The approval can also be an agent, right? So which can look at some other deviation controls. So this is one use case which is now for us it's working very well. We've commercialized it as well, and this really saves time for the person who's approving the expense report. Could be a manager, could be a finance admin, to understand historical trend monthly and quarterly of the person. We can do a yearly also if somebody wants, and give you insights on any anomalies, right? Because if you only look at this thing which is there in Concur and everything, you don't know the previous history. You'll have to go to SAP and then find out, or you have to look at a reporting tool. But AI can really help because this will be this is an agent which really processes data really fast, right? And this stores data which is in the system for, let's say, 7 years. It can look at yearly data. It can look at trend analysis. This is one agent which is called a finance agent, right? We built another agent which is auditing agent. So this is our basically reporting engine. We call it Prona. So it can answer any question that you want. Obviously, more of a predictive analysis, query-based analytics. All those things are already built in. So what we're seeing agents doing is also getting this report. So basically, you process the data, then the agent pushes it to LLM to kind of send it to GPUs to process. Around data is processed and creates pre-built reports automatically, and makes query a lot faster, right? So, for example, this is again a auditing agent where post facto, if the report is already approved, and you've, let's say, outsourced it to EY, because some of my customers use third-party auditing companies. Those companies can also get a lot of insights, and even your finance function post facto by analyzing these reports. So it does similar function there. This is called an auditing agent, like I showed you in the expense section, but this is a little more detailed. It goes through a lot of other policy compliance and all those things, right? So similarly, we built a lot of AI capabilities, but they're not agents, but this one is a company overview of agent. For example, it continuously processes data and tells you who's breaking the policy more and more, right? And it continuously acts on your data. You can monitor a lot of things here. But this is more of like a reporting agent where it does a lot of post facto analysis for you, gives you insights, and tons of other things. This agent does the budget tracking, for example. So you can leave it completely on their hand. If somebody is doing, if you think that you want to analyze a person's spend, then again, this AI layer can do a lot of analysis and all those things for you. So what I was showing you is how we've kind of implemented these agents for monetizing in our platform and helping finance teams. Happy to answer any question before I move to how do you actually build these agents yourself.
I think Himanshu, that's really great. But I think it is me as an audience and part of the group, maybe more keen to understand how you're doing all this because this looks really crazy, in terms of it's doing end-to-end thing, so there is no human
Yes,
intervention.
yes,
But
our so we spend money, right? And basically we forked our own LLMs. So there are LLMs like Llama and some others which are deployable on your own server and GPUs and public cloud, right? Because we are an enterprise grade company. We unfortunately cannot use a GPT or a Claude for our AI, right? But yes, we forked existing deployable LLMs like Llama, and we've trained it on our own data. For what you're seeing right now, we've deployed on cloud GPUs to process this data. GPUs basically help you with AI. So all the AI hosted in the world needs GPUs, right? So do you all understand the layers of AI? The first layer
um,
is
I think you can tell more, Himanshu. Trust me, we are all learning. I'll,
okay.
I'll use Claude, but still many things looks to me little, different dictionary.
Right, right. So no problem. So basically, see, I think the first thing that is required to run AI is energy, which in India we deeply lack, right? That's why we are a little behind on the energy part because AI consumes a lot of energy, right? That's why you see most of the data centers or GPU centers are outside India. In India, people who are leading it are E2E networks, for example. They've set up a lot of GPU units for our AI to work, right? And they are one of the cheapest. Globally, there is a company called Vulture, which is now coming up, which is funded by AMD, and they are basically creating GPUs for you to process. In India, there are smaller companies also, except E2E, but less relevant. But obviously, Google and Amazon, these guys are very costly if you want GPUs. So basically, the first layer energy, the second layer is hardware, which is data center GPU units, right? Sorry, the second layer is chips. So hardware chips, basically, which are coming from US and China. NVIDIA is a US company. AMD is also US, but the manufacturing is still done in China. In India, Tata Electronics is one of the first companies who's doing this, and there are some startups who are now getting into the chip manufacturing. But yes, most of the GPUs in the world, leaders are NVIDIA and AMD. AMD is number two. And then comes the data center unit, right, which is basically hosting. Then comes the cloud, which is the software part of the data center. How do you operate? And above that comes the AI layer like Claude or GPT, right? So they sit above the cloud layer, right? When you're creating your own LLMs or you're creating, let's say you want to create your own company in AI, right? Could be any use case, let's say finance agent. Uh, Outside India, yes, people have more acceptability to a GPT or a Claude hosting your AI. Or the other model that is coming now is bring your own AI, which is you can do an enterprise deal with Claude and say you have to host my data center in XYZ thing, and then use it, right? But the problem with all these Claude GPT is they will reuse your data. They'll consume your trains. They may not share your data with everybody, but they will learn from your data. So tomorrow your competition can learn from your data and then share it. If you do a productization on these AI layers, the second way is that you basically deploy it on your own cloud. So basically, Azure, for example, right, they basically do a Chat GPT white label, and then they can deploy Copilot, sort of a AI in your own uh, private cloud. Similarly, now Cloud offers it. Some other software we use Llama, which is more controllable, and we can build our own algorithm, our own IP based on our own logic, which nobody else can claim. So if you're building a software on your own or a company on your own, then that makes more sense because then you own the IP. So their investment there is higher. It's 20-30x higher. If you use regular models like Claude, GPT, Gemini, they are good for basically running with all these models. Gemini is the most cost effective model if you really want to build core AI, GPT does not work in building very hardcore applications. Codex is okay, but Claude and Gemini are better. Claude is number one. I'll say Gemini is number two, right? So with that said, we'll jump into some of the use cases that I wanted to show you. Okay, so what we've got to do is there are a lot of open source technology when you go through it, right? But I use Paperclip for creating an agent. I have to link this in GitHub, and you can just I'll probably share it here also. Okay, I'm just putting it in chat. So once you have access to this, you have to sign up in GitHub, copy this in your GitHub. Then you can go to Claude and then link it with Claude, right? There are a lot of tutorials that will help you do that. You can link it. You can get apps and extensions also. There are a lot of apps and extensions, for example. But I'm actually going to skip that part for now. I want to show you how and what can we build with this, right? So let's say you don't want to buy any software and you want to just try. What you got to do is link Claude with your data systems. It could be SAP, it could be some other things, and it's not very hard to do it. There are a lot of pre-built connectors in Claude, but you can also take help from your IT and then get an API which you can give it to Claude to read data. So whenever API comes in, there is a read API or a push API from SAP. And then from here, there is also a pull API when it requires data, right? So more or less, you'll need data from SAP or other systems. If you want to push some data to any system, then it requires another layer of API. It can also be done via SFTP, exchange. I'm happy to help you set it up, whenever you need it. But I just wanted to give you some examples. So let's say I don't want to buy any software. I can just go and link Paperclip to Claude, give it some prompts. For example, here I've said, I've given it some prompts like, what I want it to do. And it has created agents for me. So this is a expense agent, for example, right? So this audits all my expense reports. It can tell me there is a duplicate or not, and what is out of policy, what is not also, right?
So Himanshu, just to reiterate, so the chat box what you have shared with us, it has to be, this is a link to be connected with the Claude. That's what you are
It has to be
mentioning.
linked with Claude, yes.
Okay, so this simply, because I am using Claude, in my personal space. So I have to put that link in that Claude, linking
Yes.
piece. Okay. And
Yes,
then
so
it will,
just put the link and say you'll have to sign in, it'll give you an access. So one thing that you should make sure is never type your password in Claude like this, right? Username, password. Never do that with any other any tool, ChatGPT, anything, because this gets shared. So what happens is it'll ask you for a username and password in a separate link. It'll come like enter your username and password. So just give link of, let's say, Paperclip, that I want to link this, link it with my GitHub. It'll give you sign in access to your GitHub and automatically link. Never ever type your password or user ID in box for any AI, ChatGPT, Claude, any other thing, right? So that's something you should.
Understood. Himanshu, but one thing which I'm just trying to correlate and maybe push on behalf of other audience, that A is a paperclip, which is more of a connector. And then
Yes.
I have Claude, and then there is a data which may be lying on my local folder, or maybe on my company.
If you really want it to work properly, link it to your existing tools,
Okay.
right? Folder
And
is
if
one thing. Yeah, you can link it to folder, but if you want data, updated data, whatever ERP you have, whatever data source you have, link it to that.
Okay. So then what is the role of paperclip in that case? Because then there are three things which are working together. I'm just trying to understand. So one is the paperclip, one is the Claude or maybe any tool, and one is the data. how do three
See,
documents, because
like I explained, paperclip is a new technology, which is basically it creates agents for you, human-like agents, right? And it can set a full org hierarchy for you. So there could be a manager of finance, a VP finance, and a
okay,
CFO. CFO could be a human person, but everybody else under that person could be completely agents, right? This is a new technology which in India not people too many people know about. What it does is it automatically creates those layers of org and agents and what they need to do as tasks. When you link it to Claude skips all this that you have to do manually, and it automatically uses paperclip to achieve those functions, right? And what it also does, it replicates human from this is called heartbeats. So when should that person activate? When should that person deactivate? What is their work time, for example, right? Uh, this is how it creates org charts. So right now, I've created 3 agents for me. I've also created a CEO under me, for example, right? So this is the finance agent under which there are 2 connectors of policy engines. There's a CTO and I've also created a marketing agents. Internally, when I have 25 agents. I can't show you that, but this is how you set it up. So what Paperclip does is it creates these agents for you as employees. You are sitting here as a manual person, but under you there are multiple functions that are operating for you, right? Each of them will do the task assigned to them, and then you can also monitor activities of every agent as well, right?
so
So I'm
this
going to show
setup
you.
we are doing. So this setup I need to do, as in owning this entire
Yeah. So
process. So
basically, see, I'm showing you how to build your own stuff.
okay,
You may not need to buy a software. You may not
understood.
need to do. So this is one example, but let's say I want to build another agent, which basically is a reconciliation agent. It reconciles bank lines, for example, right? With
So Himanshu, in most of the Claude, the skills are uploaded as a either md.skill or there's a zip file that gets uploaded through a
Correct.
connector or the skills. The paperclip skill is also the same thing, or how to connect that?
You just link GitHub with it. So GitHub has and
Acha.
Claude have a connector, and then just say
Okay.
link this GitHub link. So the one that I showed you, this one, and that's it,
Okay. Got
right?
it. So
So
there's no download and upload type
no,
that
nothing.
generally most of skills like.
It is you can do that, but it's already linked to GitHub
Okay.
Claude, so it can read the entire file automatically. That's the
Okay.
beauty of
Understood.
connectors in Claude, right? So one more example I want to show you. This is a reconciliation agent, and see these agents can work simultaneously. You can build very complex orgs also, right? But um, this is a reconciliation agent which matches your bank file with your ERP, does the tally, and automatically gives you the results, right? So this will give you reconciliation results, for example, invoice audits. If you have to, you can give it access to all your invoices. It will automatically reconcile invoices also, exceptions, and it will give you logs.
So in
So
Himanshu, the data security is going to be issue in all of that.
yes, so I think this at an enterprise level, yes, then you'll have to deploy Claude on your own server. But if it's not a very critical thing or something which can leak, then you can use it. Otherwise, you can go for enterprise license of Claude.
In the enterprise, that's it. There's no issue or the.
Yeah, then they don't share the data, and then you can also deploy it on a private cloud also.
Oh, okay. So so we have to go for
Otherwise, see,
enterprise.
there are a lot of other mods like we in our company use Llama, but there it's very technical. So then technical people have to get involved. Claude is very simple for you as individuals to do this. So if you can use this data on your own system, usually Claude claims they don't share the actual data. But yes, enterprise license will be more secure if you're doing it company wide.
I
Right.
mean,
So
that's
I
a
think
good
this session
point.
is meant to kind of coach you on how do you use Claude and other tools to build agents for your task, right? And in future, what's going to happen, sir, is most of the repetitive functions will be replaced by these agents, right? Marketing, it has already happened. Like people who used to run 40, 50 member teams in marketing are now surviving on 4-member teams because everything is now done by agent. Sending emails, understanding SEO, automating SEO, and I'll show you that example after this, how I've done it in my CRM. But this is one way of doing it, right?
Himanshu,
Uh,
just one question. Sorry to
yes, sir.
interrupt. In our reconciliation, we just showed that the bank reconciliation is doing by the system itself. So what is the accuracy? Like how much accuracy percentage is there? It's 100%. I don't
See,
think
the
so there.
only problem with AI is it hallucinates sometimes when it processes a lot of data. So you have to go through a 15-day, 20-day cycle and understanding and matching it manually also. Sometimes it hallucinates that it doesn't understand the query properly and gives you a non-optimized result. So you can give Claude prompt to optimize the hallucination, right? That's the only challenge. Otherwise, the data is 100% accurate once it gets through the hallucination. So there is a concept called AI hallucination that happens when it reads blank files or basically stored files instead of real-time data. But it sorts itself, and then you can match it 1 or 2 times and it will get trained. So this will happen like automatically. All right. So
Thank you.
yes, that's the only thing you need to do. So again, you can do a lot of things here. You know, one more agent. Like I've told it now to create a 3-structure approval workflow. I am the approver, and then there is a finance manager. Under it, I need 3 agents to work with me, and they are linked to different basically tools that I built. So here, my tier 1 agent does these activities. My tier 2 finance agent does these 2 activities. And for me, I can do a final approver sort of a thing, right? So approve, reject, approve, reject, approve, reject. So I can train it on multiple such use cases where, let's say for example, next year I see I need 10 people. Can I automate 6 people using agents, right? So this is what basically it'll do. It'll automate at least, I'm saying 90% of the task. You will have to probably be a final approval like here, tier 3, and click on some of these tasks, right? So this is what you can do quite easily.
Maybe, Himanshu, that's a very important point you mentioned that at the end there is a human who is approving,
Yes.
the
There always has to be a human, usually, to approve, right? So if it is a critical task like reconciliation, bank feed, right? But it'll do most of the tasks for you, which is a very cumbersome task. It'll automatically do. Now, some of the things that you'll have to really look at is the skills and profile of a particular agent, right? This will be linked with paperclip, and then you'll have to train the person. Every agent will have different skill sets. It'll work in a particular time zone. It'll do some of the tasks, right? So these are things which Claude can help you build very fast. And then governance layer is something where you can come in. But this is how the agents are set up in Paperclip and Claude. So skills are loaded, what the person does, what is the person's capability, right? And then when does the person work? So this is called heartbeats in Paperclip. One of the core functions it basically has launched. You can tell it when to activate, when not to activate, how to do that. So basically, it's not a single day play that you start doing it and you will be able to build. Once you learn this, then you can create these agents in minutes. But to learn this, you will take a month or 2. But yes, I think once you get the hold of it, it's really, really simple. So to get this done, right? My recommendation is link all your data at one place, whatever you can, with the security thing in mind, and then play around with that data for some time until you're ready to build actual agents. And once you're done, you can deploy it back as a website. You can log into the website, You can deploy it on your own cloud, like GCP, for example. You can do all that. Right. So, any questions on this one?
This paperclip is quite interesting to create these agents. But can we use that with Copilot as well, or only?
You can use it with Copilot. You can use it with. I don't know if you have used AI Studio. I find AI Studio better than Copilot. So, so basically, this is from Google. It's the least cost, right? Agent, and one of the core things I'm now building is basically a multi. So this is I don't know if you've heard of Emergent. So this is our latest product where we're building uh, multi LLM model. We've also integrated Kimi, for example. Internally, we are using this right now. So basically, what this will do is this can build applications like you saw in Claude with any model, because Claude sometimes becomes expensive, right? So once it's ready, I will be happy to share this with you. But basically, it uses every other model and combines it into a single code. So that's the better thing, and it automatically deploys it to, let's say, Google Cloud or AWS. So we'll share this with you once it's ready. But yes, I think if there are no other questions, I'll show you some more use cases, actual use cases of agents.
Himanshu, one thing, just because this is a problem with most of us in the, corporate, that we have been given access to Copilot in the corporate space since it comes with the Microsoft, and and that's why Nimit asked that question. So, do you think that with that limitation currently, because Claude is something at least in many organizations not been given in the enterprise level, do you think that with Copilot also we can try and do something, or do you feel with Copilot there will be a lot of restrictions and it is
You
not
can
not
see that
the
basically a lot of the Copilot backend code is ChatGPT and Codex. Codex is also a great application, so you can definitely use it. The way of I think what Claude does better is basically the UI layering, which you saw right now. It creates those UI layers very fast, but yes, others can do. If you are just beginning, right, on the AI front, it cannot link to. You can probably start with this. I think, see, learning AI will probably need some of the cost from you, but this basically, if you want to create quick websites, quick basically the UI part, then this is the best tool right now. It's called lovable.dev. It can create websites and the front end of the application, which is the UI, very, very quickly, right? Uh, which is what you can use. And this can also be linked to Copilot and Claude as well. Claude is linked seamlessly with it. Not tried, frankly, Copilot with Lovable, but yes, you can design your UI on Lovable and then deploy code there on Claude or any other tool. So just go through it. It has a lot of good free credits also. You can build a quick website and see. Give it a prompt and it'll automatically create that. It cannot create very good working agents though. But yes, if you want to use Gemini, then this works with Gemini. Lovable. This is one of the fastest growing applications in the world right now, along with Emergent. Right. A few other things. So basically, if you use tools like Lovable, it will not be able to build a mobile application for you. Claude can do it. Claude is more technical. You can use Cursor with Claude. Otherwise, if you want to use something else, like there's an application called Replit also. But yes, everything for the web application, these are good. Right. Any other question before I just show you some more use cases? Okay. So what I'm going to show you is not related to finance right now, but this is my CRM, which I'm showing you a backend of, right? So I can show you a front end of also, right? So basically, let me show you the backend first. So there are a lot of agents running in this platform. This is, like I was telling you, this is a SEO Copilot. It automatically finds opportunities to increase my SEO score and automatically creates approval flow for me. Like I showed you right now, where approving is done by me. And this can then automatically publish this SEO to my blog or the website or make corrections. So this is a marketing agent that I built for myself. Right? I have a CRM called Deal Drive. I'll give you a glimpse of it. But this agent is actual agent working in reality, and it gives me Claude ready prompts or a lovable related prompt if it's a UI layer. I have a content planner also. I have a product manager which automatically researches what I need to build. As soon as I click accept, it'll automatically generate a prompt. It's already linked to Claude, so it'll start building. It can automatically build roadmap for me. This is a product manager agent. It does deep research versus competition and the industry, what's happening, and gives me those prompts. This is very important, which is a QA agent. Now, what it does is I can just select a particular instance that I want to run QA for, and it'll automatically do the QA for me, right? So basically, I've completely replaced a human person doing quality analysis. Usually, it's a person which feeds data and then tests all function one by one. It's a technical role. Usually costs about 20 lakhs for one person. At scale that I am in, I will need a team of 5 to 6 QAs, but I've completely removed that using this agent workflow, right? So a lot of these use cases are currently practically happening, right? And agents are working on this one. On my CRM, for example, I have a lot of other agents also. This agent automatically searches what needs to be done in a deal and automatically kind of tells you, do this. If you click on that, it'll take an action on it, automatically create a focus task, right? And a lot of other things. So there are 75 agents running in the CRM right now. There's an agent called Target, which runs discovery for you on which accounts you should go and sell to, for example, right? So you can actually find a lot of these use cases on the fly. And for example, in this, there is also a agent which is running the loss cause analysis as well, right? So this runs on data. This is a simple agent. It's not a complicated agent. But I just wanted to go kind of show you mainly the backend part that I've done. I've replaced human people with actual agents who are doing most of the work for me, right? Even my support is fully automated. Agent replies. I don't have to do anything. There is
And you're using which tool for that?
For this one, I'm using a mix of Gemini and my Llama.
Okay.
The one that you see right now, this is a CRM which is meant for SMEs, and usually SMEs don't have issues with Gemini, for example. So I've deployed it in US because this tool I'm more or less selling in US. But yes, basically, I just wanted to show you how we've kind of automated most of the tasks in the company to agents. This agent sends automatic sequences to upgrade, buy, all these things, right? So, yeah. So we've done actually a practical application of these agents. You saw that I have approval flow. When I approve, then the task is done for me. But I've kind of automated 90% of the tasks of this agent, and I've linked paperclip in the backend. It usually schedules when I want to. I have a backend access also where I control this, right? But basically, anything you build or any function that you want to increase the efficiency in, you can use this particular agentic workflow to optimize this, right? And now the good thing is that you don't need technical skills to now build these tools. By just giving a prompt, all of you can just build such tools, right? And it's just about how much time can you spare playing around with it. I've seen getting very, very efficient in a month, and in 2 months you can get quite proficient. But you've got to play every other day, spend an hour or so in experimenting. If you want to be serious, then you should have access to one paid LLM layer. Could be Copilot, could be Claude, could be Codex, right? But I will recommend one paid plan. But yes, you or yourself or somebody in your team, you can ask them to kind of experiment with it, get things done. I think reconciliation is a big plane, which I'm seeing now after some of my sessions that people are automating a lot. Just did a session with Grant Thornton also. They loved it because they are now using this to build reconciliation for companies. And that's a big use case. Auditing is a big use case. And invoice matching with bank records is also a big use case. So I think you would know use cases better. Obviously, predictive analysis is an old technology. Agents will replace humans for you. So, and see, I think one thing you should kind of do is give it your own daily tasks that you come and do, right? So you can build an agent which can read your emails, for example. Although, yes, there is a security issue, but if you want to do some of those automated things, you can do it. Or let's say, some of your employees come and just pick up a file daily. They compare two files. That can be done in 2 minutes, where they spend like 2 days doing that. So those kind of things, I think, are the easiest one to pick up initially, and then get into more complicated tasks as
Yeah,
you
if
kind of
anyone
progress.
is on Google Workplace, they have a studio. So
Exactly,
that's
yeah,
a
and that is
good
already linked
tool.
and secure.
Correct,
Yes,
already linked. So for example, if I have any meeting, so the studio scrapes the last 2-3 days email exchange and give the gist what's
exactly.
happening in the meeting type. So it's a very good one.
Yes, sir.
Paid
And
one?
you
It's a
can
paid Hitesh? Sorry, it's a paid Google
No,
paid
it's so
tool.
we are on Google Workplace. It's a
yeah.
free inbuilt in that
If you have a
It's
business
a
plan,
studio.
it,
Google
it
Workspace.
comes inbuilt.
That's mm.
Yeah,
And see, the beauty about Google AI Studio is it has access to your
correct.
documents also.
Calendar, email, everything.
Documents also. So it can read through that and then process your task
Yeah.
automatically.
So before every meeting, I get to know what is the actionable. I have asked to another one what is actionable for me, what
Exactly.
happened. So what are the discussion points? So very good, good tool
I've actually
indeed.
now, sir, automated it to reply on my behalf on things that I don't want to reply. Right. So I think, yeah, you can use it as much as you want. But yes, I think if you just want to experiment some of the agents, use Paperclip, link it to Studio, link it to Claude. It'll give you at least great insights on what future is kind of now looking at. Because
Thank you.
I think all of us will agree that a lot of these agents will replace human skills. So it's better to kind of understand technology right now. And this is a new technology. Claude is still old. Paperclip is a new technology. So just try to experiment with it, and yeah, let me know. You can ping me. I'll just put in my phone number. Happy to kind of chat on WhatsApp or help you guys also. Any questions?
Himanshu, can I ask a question, please?
Yes, sir.
Uh, So, I mean, seeing how the AI is going, right, and seeing that even a non-coder person can develop tools and whatnot. So, how does that, as a CEO, makes you feel? Maybe not now, but maybe from 1 year from today, 2 years from today, because it looks like any new person can come in a field and develop a new CRM probably very, very quickly. So, yeah, how does that make you feel?
No, I think yes. I think creating now applications are easier. That's why Pro Expense I got into regulated industry. So
Okay.
fintech is regulated. I have NPCI license, RBI license. In the US, I have federal license. And travel is also very regulated industry. So very few players who tie with it. But yes, CRM, what we're doing is we're building our own core, light LLM on it. So we don't use Claude or these things because those are very simple to do. We are actually building our own capabilities on it. But yes, simple stuff anybody can do now. If you do simple stuff, I think it's very difficult to sustain in future.
I was having a chat with someone, and we were talking about in terms of where AI is and where it's going, right? So its speed is accelerating, and if my argument was, or my question was, after 4 or 5 years, would someone be able to make their own SAP? Like, spend 10 days, would someone be able to make their own SAP? And uh, obviously, no one knows how. I mean, I think it's not a question I'm asking.
The
Just
only thing is right. So
yeah,
AI will get costlier.
yeah.
Right now, it's basically in the beta phase, so it's cheaper. but cost of energy is going up. The cost of hardware is going up. Cloud is going up, so it'll get costlier. The other thing is, while it'll fasten up the process by 100x or 200x, there are still people needed to go and link it together, because this creates 60% of the application, but it cannot deploy properly. So basically, to sell to enterprises, you need a what is called a service-based architecture. Currently, all AI companies create a monolithic architecture, right? Which means the microservices in that code cannot be separated. So what you need to do is get a architect behind your code. That person will then create it into a microservice layer architecture. Then you have to deploy it to cloud. Uh, and cloud costs are going to be humongous if you deploy it via a AI agent, because the way it deploys is very inefficient. So then you've got to do it, and then you've got to also link it to single sign-ons, all these things which are not automated at all right now. So 60% of the task is done by AI, but you still need people to kind of do it. But yes, that 60% is now become really, really easy. So I think what I see in future is a lot of these enterprises will make their own products, uh, and it'll be difficult to kind of enter even financial products, right? Like reporting is now, nobody buys reporting from outside, because you can just use your own, inbuilt, like say, Copilot to build. I was talking to Cyient, the CIO. So he said, I just built it on Copilot on my own, the entire reporting engine. And they used to spend how many millions of dollars on Power BI earlier. So that thing is going to happen. Nobody can avoid it. Just about interest of the company, whether they want to spend time on it or not. But yes, it'll get really easy. You're right. Unless it's a regulated industry.
Himanshu, I think another extreme. So one Harsh is talking about the AI adoption like at a pace where everyone can do, but other piece is the finance. Many of us are for the finance fraternity, and probably if just trying to ask you next three years, say put, if we have a team of 20 people, in finance, how do you think how much work can be, put through without people? Like I'm just thinking, we talk about AI, but do it will replace human that we don't need people or we still need people? What is your thought process on that? That's something I'm,
Yeah, so I've seen this. So in 2014, 15, RPA came in, right?
yeah.
So I was talking to the CFO of Metso. I met him that day. He said, I fired 400 people today because RPA automated those tasks, but there are still people who then don't do those repetitive tasks. This disruption will also affect finance, like it has already affected marketing. So just to give you an example, an average marketer used to get around 40 to 50 lakhs. Performance marketer. Right now, nobody's paying 20 lakhs. Right? Design specialist used to get 25 lakhs. Now nobody's ready to pay 5 lakhs for a design specialist, because all he has to go to do is go on, Gemini or go on Claude and just generate a design. So one is that, and this is more impacting marketing right now in India. The repetitive things will go, right. The first level coder is gone now. Like no company hires first level coders, and that's why Oracle fired so many people. TCS is now firing so many people. Um, but yes, what happens is, if you get more business, then these people are still needed to upskill themselves on AI and then work, right. So I think there will be fewer people needed to do the amount of tasks you do right now. What can be done is they can use this paperclip functionality or other new future technologies to create, like, what this does is it creates a simple L1 employee or manager. It can have 14 people, 14 agents working for him, right? So it'll make their work very efficient. But do you need those number of layers now? I don't think so. Of so many people, and L1 layer will be the the most hit, which does very simple tasks, right? And we are already seeing it in finance every day. Our tool, for example, does it for travel admins also. You don't need a travel admin anymore. The task that they used to do in 2 hours, it takes 2 minutes. So this will happen. The way to get over it is upskill yourself on AI, right? And I think, I think as more and more cross-functional, multifunctional people will survive. Multi-skills people. People who have only one skill will struggle. It'll happen outside India first because the cost of person is very high in US, for example, or in Europe. India, relatively, you don't feel that amount of it. You can say banda bata aadmi kar lega, right? But then you'll start looking at efficiency of that person. So that's the challenge will come. If the person can increase that his or her efficiency, then great. Otherwise, yes, it'll hit overall the number of people required right now to function. I'll give you my example, right? I'm telling you, if I remove all these agents, I'll have to hire 50 odd more people right now.
That's what I was
So
wondering, things are changing fast. Right? Understood.
I
Understood.
think I mean all of us are very senior people, but for people who are just coming up in their career, I think senior people will not be hit because it ultimately needs a governance layer on the top. So AI will have a governance layer where senior people will see and then decide, take actions. But if junior people don't upskill themselves, then they'll struggle. And that is what happened to a lot of marketing folks in India. Many people lost their jobs. Even people selling basic things like I don't know if you were following Yellow Messenger. They were a revelation before ChatGPT. ChatGPT came and then company is dead. So I think yes, those technologies will disrupt functions jobs, but we just have to keep up with the technology and then adopt it as it
Yes,
comes.
Himanshu. But I think the last thing which, while hearing you, a lot of good thoughts, thanks, that, AI adoption and AI governance, I think comes as a play because AI
Yeah.
adoption for the leadership and AI governance also becomes play because ultimately compliance leads, to the end. So,
No, AI governance is actually the biggest thing that now companies are focusing on. For example, I met the Reliance's Geo CTO recently. So all he was building is governance layer on AI, right? So because they have multiple fintechs, they have media, a lot of things. So I think our AI governance layer is becoming the next big thing, which a lot of these companies are also focusing on. I've also invested in a company where they're making this AI governance layer of payments. So, so I think that is the next big thing, right? How do you govern these agents? How do you overall govern the AI actions in your company? And governance is not only about, you know, I approve this action, but what did the agent do the entire day or in the entire month, right? And is there some changes required in the functioning? Is there a risk that now appears in the company because of some of these actions agents, right? So that governance layer will become really important for companies, especially for the CFO office.
Himanshu, what advice would you have for those who would enter job market, say, in 5, 7 years or 10 years? So with AI taking up so many entry-level jobs, right? So what would you say they should focus on?
So I think I will recommend at least upskill everybody on AI, right? So if you don't know AI, then you're hardly employable. So I actually mentor a lot of colleges, and when they send me people, I straightforward put them on Claude and say, okay, in the next 1 month, just learn this. So whether it be any function, right? Could be even FMCG. I'm seeing FMCG is creating their own AI network for manufacturing processes. So I think if everybody kind of understands AI and then some layers, right? So what is a data layer? What is a governance layer? And skill themselves on one of these layers, I think then I think people will have jobs. I don't think in India people will have problems if they understand AI because we are outsourcing country. So I think we can still outsource a lot of AI builds and AI building, AI governance, infrastructure maintenance, for example. So those jobs will continuously increase, but yes, simple level stuff that we've been doing may just go away. I mean, that is what my research says. Yeah, I think you never know.
I think many of us, our parents, are a bit concerned, or at least thinking like, what would our child do even after 10 years they enter the job market? I mean, yes, learning AI. I think AI is with children are learning anyway, right? using AI to work on work. Even
Yes,
if they're
yes.
not allowed to do that, but they're still doing it.
No, it's good. I think these guys, our children are way ahead of us. So I see young children just, creating things on Claude, even if it's a simple design or something like that. So I think these guys will be much, much superior in tech than we are, especially on AI. So I don't think it's the new generation. I think shouldn't worry because they've been coached like that. I was chatting with somebody, and in US, most of the folks are choosing engineering and robotics and AI. So I think, yeah, I think those things are future. I think the common things that we did in the engineering, and like, I'm an engineer. I did computer science. Nobody does computer science general now, right? So so I think those technologies. The only thing is in India, I see less practical application of it in education. I think that's one thing because colleges don't want to spend money. They're hardly, except IITs, there are hardly GPU centers in any university, which is a big concern. If you look at what Harvard and Stanford and all the US and like Vishal Sikka, right? He just created his own LLM. He partnered with a college to do it. His colleges have those infrastructures, and he took interns to get a lot of his work done. I know a lot of people who I know a person in Berkeley who's developed his own LLM basis on interns in Berkeley using their infrastructure. He gave Berkeley like 10%, 15% of the company, and then they co-develop. So in US, that's why they are so advanced in terms of capabilities because education centers have their own GPU centers, data centers, people who research in AI. There are professors who are AI experts. In India, it's very hard to find one. So I think, yeah, we just got to replicate what we're seeing in China and US.
Thanks, Himanshu. And anyone have any questions? Because we have stressed the session, and so if anyone has questions, we can take up with Himanshu. Else, we can proceed with the next discussion. Mute. Someone wants to say.
I just want to say thank you to Himanshu. It's great to know all of that, but I think 1 hour is not enough for justice for this. I think lots to learn from you.
No, we are actually coming up with sessions for CFOs. So basically, I and Ramesh, the CEO of Video, are creating a community for finance to educate in these things, so we can have more sessions. I'm sure Ankur can kind of facilitate that.
Yeah.
But this was more of a introductory thing that what's happening, and happy to kind of go into more detailed sessions.
I think, Himanshu, the intent of these were more setting up an eye-opening, for the people and to create a community that people should know what is happening around the AI space. But yeah, if someone has to go in deep dive, definitely it cannot be in an hour. It has to be just to be more in depth. A lot of new terms I learned today, at least, although I claim I know AI, but I realized that it's only 1%, maybe 0.5% I know. Anyways, but it's a good start, I think, for me as an individual now.
Yes, I think I will recommend all of you build at least one agent. It'll be nice to remember some of these things and just play around with it over a weekend. If you like what's happening, then you can experiment it in your company. I think individually first and then company is what I recommend. But yes, I think as CFOs, this can really help you automate a lot of tasks in the company, make overall company more efficient. I think after today's session, not only in your function, but I think in other functions also, you'll understand that these tasks can be really easily done, right? So automating a lot of these marketing functions, sales functions, coding function is really, really simple. So I think it'll now give you insights that, how much do you want to hire? What is your next AOP going to look like? How much do you want to spend in AI versus hiring people sort of thing, right? So I think that's what I recommend that we all do. But yeah, let's be in touch. Just type in my email address also. And thank you, Ankur, for organizing it. Thank you, everyone, for giving me the opportunity to speak to you.
Thank you, Himanshu, for joining on a
Very
Sunday.
Thank you.
Thank you, Himanshu.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Thank you, Himanshu.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.